Coming up on Behind the Click. There is something infectious about working with someone who's really passionate because you get excited too. And you're like, okay, we're all excited about this thing.
If you're passionate about what you're doing, I think also the end consumer somehow will feel that.
What has been the biggest shift that you've had to make as a leader to be able to keep up with this change?
It's all about the people.
Yeah.
The brand is nothing without the people.
Leading a team through big change is never easy, but Christina Skoeries knows how to do it. Since 2020 and currently as Director of E-commerce, she's been helping Camel Active go from a traditional wholesale brand to a modern D2C business, all while keeping her team motivated, creative, and empowered. In this episode, we talk about the power of vulnerability in leadership, making tough decisions, and creating a culture where people feel safe to take a risk and grow. This is Behind the Click, powered by e-commerce Berlin Expo. I'm Janine Heinrich, and I chat with the leaders shaping the future of online retail. Let's get into the conversation. Welcome to the podcast, Christina.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Of course, we're excited to have you here at Behind the Click. Like it's always exciting to have another guest, and with your topic, I think we're going to have quite an in-depth conversation. But even before we jump into the so-called meat and potatoes of the conversation, I wanted to start off with something a little bit lighter first and fun. So I've got a set of rapid fire questions for you to kick things off.
Exciting.
Okay. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Good. Let's get into it. So to get your day started off on the right foot, what helps you the most? Is it coffee, tea, or something else?
Okay, it's two things.
Yeah.
It's coffee.
Yeah.
Definitely coffee with milk. And a call from my best friend, which is kind of a ritual every morning. She calls me at 7:30 every morning because she's caring for children.
Yeah.
And that's the only time slot we two have time for another. So we're just talking for 5 minutes, drinking our coffee, and then the day could start.
Wow, that's such a cool ritual.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's not part of the rapid fire, but how did that come to be? Is it something you've been doing for a long time, or?
Yeah, I think your day is so busy
Yeah.
due to the fact that I have two kids, she has kids.
Yeah.
We have our work day, which is from the beginning to the end, and then in the evening it's just homework with the kids, household, and so on. Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
And this is just the only time of the day where we have just 5 minutes for us, and I think it helps a lot to just exchange what happened and opinions and some lovely words.
Beautiful.
That helps.
I really love that because I'm getting to a stage in my life where a lot of my friends are starting to have kids, and so we always talk about adult friendships. How do we balance it now?
Yeah.
So that's a wonderful tip that I'm going to keep in mind. So beautiful. Okay, what is the best advice you've ever received?
Just be true to yourself. Of course, you can always take something from others, and you also develop yourself further, but I think you don't have to be someone else. I'm a very emotional person, and sometimes I struggle and think, okay, do I have to be a little poshier, or I don't know, but I think that's my strength, and I will keep it, and that helped me a lot in the past.
Oh, cool. That's a lot I can learn from you already on that one, because I'm quite emotional as well, and I've definitely felt the push to be less emotional, but it's really lovely to hear that. The next question I have for you is, what's the hardest lesson you've learned as a leader?
I think the hardest lesson is to never give up, even if it's sometimes, or even if there are times that are tougher and harder. And you always have to keep in mind that it's just a time or a period, and then it will get easier afterwards. So resilience, I learned a lot about taking some time to go through it, and then afterwards you're rising, and you're evolving your own personality. So even tougher times are not bad. They can help you grow.
Beautiful. Okay. I've got so many thoughts, but next question. What is one word you would use to describe your role at Camel Active?
Passionate motivator, maybe. I had this at the beginning of this year. I had talks to every one of my team, and we had this 4 core strengths in our company. And one of it is passion. And the team had to decide which of the 4 is the one that fits best to you. And everyone said passion. That was so clear, 100% clear. Of course, all the others are the same, have the same importance, but everyone said passion is my thing. And I can think of that this is also my strength, to empower them and to motivate them to to do their best, due to the fact that it's just fun. It's just fun doing it together. It's just fun innovating things or pushing things further, or trying to solve problems. It's not for me. It's not bad to see that there are problems. For me, it's a challenge, and then it makes fun to solve them. So I'm more the passionate, positive thinker, I think.
That's beautiful. And we're going to touch on that in depth in a moment. So to my very last question that I have for you, you've recently been at many conferences. So you've been to the Mexico shop, the Shopware Community Day, other conferences as well. So my question to you is, what trends are you most excited or worried about for the future of e-commerce?
At least I have to say, I'm just standing on stages like I started just 1 year ago or something. So even if you say I'm in podcasts and on stages, I just started 1 year ago. So but trends. I'm interested in everything, first of all. But in the end, you have to see if it fits to your brand, if it fits to your company. Not everything. So you have 1001 possibilities, and you get lost in the possibilities. So you have to focus on what is really important now for your company. And of course, the development is so fast. If you implement something today, it is outdated tomorrow. So you kind of you don't have the chance to implement everything what's new. So I would say stay interested in all the trends, but then figure out what really works for you and what you really want to try out, and what gives you the possibility to stay scalable. So but to talk about trends, I would say I wouldn't say that it's a trend, but it's important for us to focus more on community again. In the past, we have been a very community-oriented brand, and we have a very loyal customer base for Camel Active. Due to a storyline, they connect with the brand. And I think this is something we have to push more in the future in a more modern way, which fits more to the actual customer group. Like you have to find something or a spot for your brand where you become cultural relevant for people, and where they want to interact with you and to become more authentic and closer to your customers. So there are little things, like we started just last year with WhatsApp as a channel, so they can have the direct contact to us. There are also very little things like that we send our newsletters with the name, like it's Paula from Camel Active or something like that.
So really adding this human and community touch. And maybe I'm going to pause this there because there's a lot that we're going to unpack there, but I think we'll close out the rapid fire questions with that, because you've already touched on a lot, and you already said the e-commerce world is moving really fast. There's a lot of trends, and you're having to lead through all of these changes yourself. I mean, it's quite interesting because Camel Active in 2020 decided to become, or also transition into direct to consumer as well, from being a solely wholesale retail brand, which is quite a shift. And so even before we dive into the strategy and the reasons for that shift and everything else, I'm kind of curious, for you as a leader in there, what has been the biggest shift that you've had to make as a leader to be able to keep up with this change?
I think for us it was a very big change due to the fact that our wholesale history was so big. But of course we decided, as many others, due to the fact that you have the possibility to have all the customer data, of course, and that you can again try to foster the relationship again. So these are really 2 very important points to just get started. but of course, there have been a lot of challenges in the past, like logistics, for example, or the complete infrastructure. If you have a wholesale business, the infrastructure is just implemented on the wholesale business. Our ERP system was kind of outdated, so we started from the scratch to build everything in our own bubble.
Yeah.
So just the main product data came from the ERP, and we built everything around it. Yeah, and so it's a very complex infrastructure.
Yeah.
And also you have to set up a new team, which is responsible for the complete tasks. You have to start with not just with the online shop. We also started with marketplaces, which is good advice for everyone who just gets started. Also for international brands, they want to get started in another country, due to the fact that marketplaces are easier to implement, and you directly get a very high reach and brand awareness. And afterwards, you can concentrate also more on the own online shop. So yeah, I think that would be the most challenges. And of course, we are a licensee brand. That is something which is different to others. There are also some points you have to take care of then. And yeah, I think that's the most.
Okay. But so what I'm really curious about though is for you as a leader. So what was it like for you trying to lead through these shifts? Because I thought it was quite interesting through my research on you. One of the things that you say is you like to try to make yourself redundant as a leader, which sounds so counter to what typically leaders say, because they want to be at the forefront. They want to have everyone see that they're there. And you're like, no, I want to make myself redundant as a leader. So what is it like for you to make yourself redundant as a leader while you're going through such a big transition and leading that within your team?
Yeah. In the beginning, I have to say, I tried to be redundant. And of course, we also had huge development in the past. And as we started, we had 3 people for the D2C business. Now we are 15 people for the e-com part. Also for marketing, there were more people joining. But in the beginning, of course, everyone did everything. Like, we had to set up things first, and everyone was responsible for kind of everything. And then when you're growing so fast, you kind of have to give responsibilities to people so that they can develop their part for their own. And then you have to kind of step back from the operative side and try to be more or try to give more directions, or try to make clear decisions. And of course, I'm a person who's very close to the team, so we also discuss things. But in the end, of course, there's always a decision. I think it's not worse, or there's nothing worse than just discussing things and then there's no decision in the end, because then you're stuck. But in this development, I had to step back further and further and further, even though that half year ago, I got the director title. So I even got more into the leadership parts, and I had to admit, then I had to let go things. So in the end, even though the team would be more motivated if I don't rule everything and I'm not responsible for everything, so that they really have the chance to rise and shine for their own, and they really have the chance to be responsible for something and to push things on their own. So I think this is a good motivator as well.
Yeah. It sounds actually quite challenging, right? Because it sounds like in your situation, it's you want to be able to give the freedom and the autonomy to the team so that they're making these decisions. And you inevitably you have to, because you're growing so fast. But at the same time, sometimes decisions just have to be made, things have to be done quickly. And so you're forced to sometimes jump back in, essentially, it sounds like what you're saying. And so there's this kind of a push and pull in leadership of like trying to balance both.
I'm struggling a little bit with I want everything to be perfect for myself at home and at work. So in the end, I want the output to be really high quality. And if I see that it's not the fact, then I'm kind of like, okay, can we do here and there? And I try to jump in again. But I think, or I hope that that I can give them the advice to be self-critical on their own, so that they, for their own, are questioning is it enough? Is the output perfect? Can we go live with this? So I hope that they also learn that behavior, and I also have to learn to be not 100% perfect. So I think we learn from each other.
Yeah, I can completely relate to that. I understand where you're coming from, because for myself personally, it's like this, you, even with running my company now, you want to be hands off and let the team do things because you know you don't have the time. And at the same time, maybe you have a perfectionist tendency like I do, and then you're seeing something which is not the output you would have put out, and you kind of cringe a bit, and you're like, okay, maybe I should. And I think the lesson I had to learn was saying, you know what, it still works good enough.
Yes, it will.
It wasn't what I wanted, but they still put something out there,
Maybe
and
the
it still
customer
works.
would even
Like
notice,
it even more, or not even notice it, exactly. But then at the same time, I think one of the biggest things that I had to learn in the process was to sort of create an environment where you allow people to feel safe enough, and you give enough trust that they can just put something out there or try something. And so that's the question that I wanted to ask you, is how do you create an environment, or have you created an environment that helps people to really feel safe to make these mistakes or just put something on the table?
Yeah. I hope that we have a great failure culture, due to the fact that it's no one's fault. No way someone is fault. It's always a we. If we have a fault, or if we have a success, it's always a we. Or what did we do? We did a mistake. Or also with the success, or we won, or we the figures are increasing. So it's always a we. So no, it's no one's fault, and we can talk about it. And we always talk about how to make it better in the future, or how to avoid things in the future. But it has never been someone's fault, and I think this is the most important thing. Yeah.
Okay, but how did you do that tangibly? So what does it mean by making it a we culture? So does this mean that, so I know, for example, at one company I used to work at, we would share failures, for example, or wins. Like, so you would have the team come in, and sometimes we talk together about, here's what went wrong. We tried this project. This is why this project didn't work, and kind of actively just discuss it and bring that to the table. So what does that look like for you all as you're creating this we? So yeah.
We don't have these fix
Yeah.
calls where we talk about what went wrong, what went good. That we doesn't have. Don't have. But we have. We're working very closely together for projects, and there I see how they feel, kind of, and where they're struggling. And then we are talking directly in that minute. We're talking about what went wrong and what is missing, maybe, and then we take care about what maybe has to be done in the future to avoid things like that. So I have one example for you. In the past, or last year, we implemented Klaviyo just 4 weeks before Black Week started.
What is that?
Klaviyo is an email or little CRM email customer automation platform. And we thought about when would be the best time to implement, before the Black Week or afterwards. And we were like, okay, it would be great if we would have it before, but it's a tough timing, 4 weeks with everything, like every connection. And I asked the team, I was like, okay, can we do it together? And the team was, yes, we can. And then we worked together on that project. And of course, it was really chaotic and messy, and we had like a roller coaster drive. It was like, oh no, we got it, and oh no, it didn't work. So it was really fun working that out together. And I think during this project we learned a lot. And of course, for the future, I would never again do it 4 weeks before Black Week. It was a tough time, but it also brought us stronger together. So I don't know, we don't have fixed calls for that, but yeah.
But it sounds like from what you've said, it's very much about having open communication
Yeah,
with your team and you directly talking to them talking to you. There's an element of vulnerability in there, it sounds
yeah,
like,
it
with
is.
talking about the feelings and what they're thinking and
Yeah,
if you think you can actually do this. And
yeah,
then this element of fun. And
yeah,
I think that's a fascinating word that you used in that context is to say, we sat together, we said, yeah, we can do this. It was mayhem, but we had fun
yeah.
through the
We
mayhem.
have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's really an interesting thing, and that's something that I'm curious to unpack even further with you because being part of this transformation where you are building this direct to consumer experience, and of course, you're the director and you're leading all of these things. I would love to have you maybe share one of these instances when maybe there's a time where things weren't working and the energy was dipping among the team,
Hmm.
but you were able to kind of draw on this element of fun and open communication and transparency that potentially brought everyone back and got things back on track even during this weird transformative time.
Yeah. I think you also gave the answer in the beginning of the
Yeah.
question
Okay.
because it's due to vulnerability. Um, I also show when I'm a little bit down or when I make mistakes or something like that. And I also had a tough
Yeah.
time. Um, yeah, and I was very transparent about it. I was like, oh, I'm not feeling that good today, but okay, I'm happy that you are here, guys, and so we can make it together. And I think that gives more or a better understanding of how the person feels, and they also see that you don't have to be 100% perfect all the time, and that a team carries you through these times. And
Mm-hmm.
also when I'm down, but also when my team's down or team members are down, we are a team. That's what a team is for. So even though there's someone who's a little bit frustrated or demotivated,
Mm-hmm.
we know we carry ourselves through this time. And I think there's always the point that you think, okay, we can make it together, and we will succeed together. So I think
Mm-hmm.
this helps you, even though there is a tough time, or even though if you're a little bit frustrated.
Yeah. I'm really curious about that because personally have the impression that vulnerability in the work environment was always something that was so frowned upon or not allowed. And we even kind of alluded to it in the beginning of the conversation around
Hmm.
emotions. And you've said yourself you're an emotional person. I myself am also a very emotional
Yeah.
person, but I found myself in different work environments having to present myself as if I'm stoic,
Hmm.
motionless, so that that's supposed to be the best way to behave in the work environment.
Yes.
And so I'm curious about your journey to getting to the point that you're at now where you're able to vulnerably express to your team
Hmm.
how you're feeling. What was that journey like to get to that point?
Yeah, I also had times where I thought that I have to behave differently, and that
Mm-hmm.
yeah, now in that position I have to be stronger and even more with a more distance between us. Um, but that's not me. So there were times where I thought, okay, I have to be more pushy and so on and so on. Due to the fact that there are also people telling me that I'm too weak or too
Mm-hmm.
emotional. So like, why do you cry, or
Yeah.
why are you so emotional to that topic? Or so I questioned myself, but in the end, I was like, no, that's my way of leading, and you see the success in the figures. So just let me do it.
Mm-hmm.
I trust in my way of leading the team, trust in the team as well, and you see what happens. And the figures gave me the show the results. So yeah,
Yeah.
just give trust.
Yeah. I'm curious actually, let's talk about those kind of figures. In what ways has being leading in this way
Hmm.
improved the figures and which figures exactly are you referring to?
Figures, of course.
Yeah.
The most important figures for us is revenue, of
Yeah.
course. But yeah, I think it's a goal which aligns us all. Like every one of us tries to push these huge goal forward, and we're looking on the figures on Monday each and every week together in our Joe Fix meeting
Mm-hmm.
with the team together. and just a side note, we just changed the Jurfix to a walk and talk meeting.
Oh,
And
interesting.
now we're outside every Monday for 1 hour. We're just going through all the topics from the team and walking. And I think this was also a great invention. Yeah, just a side note.
Yeah.
And what do I want to say? Yeah, I think that helped a lot to yeah, how to come back.
Yeah, you were saying, so it was around the really talking about the figures on a weekly basis with your
Thanks.
team. Yes.
Yes, that helped a lot to have this common goal. And I think so they also have a better understanding why it is so important. And I think it's also important to give them the complete business insights and not just working on their operational stuff, but to give them the complete business insights, why we are doing that, and that it's important for the business to grow, and that it's important to be profitable, and what it means that if a newsletter fails, what this means for the complete figures. I think it's good that they also have the understanding why these figures are so important, so that they have a clear understanding behind what they are doing, and not just doing their stuff to do it, but that they know for what they are doing it, and that it's so important that their work matters, really.
Yeah.
So in the end, I don't have to explain, please give me 1 more hour and do that and that task. I just have to say, let's reach the next 100K or something like that, and the weekend is important. And they were like, okay, I just do my part to achieve this goal. And the other one says, I just do my part. And that doesn't mean that they have to work the whole weekend or something. That isn't what I want to say. What I want to say, but everyone has this responsibility. And knows that he as a person, or he or she as a person, is important.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I guess I could really summarize that into 3 points from what you've said, and it's really transparency in the figures, the bottom line of the company. With this transparency, you give a sense of ownership because now they understand why they're doing their work and directly contributing back to the bottom line of the company or whatever goal the company has. And in doing so, there becomes this aura of teamwork because I know if I did my part and I know if you do your part, then together we get to that collective goal. And all of that because of the vulnerability that is put to the table for you as a leader. And I think that's really interesting to think about and really cool to kind of surmise together. And on a slight side note to your side note, why the walk and talks actually? Just the fresh air help?
We were just thinking about that. We're sitting in front of our laptop all the day, from morning till evening. I was like, it would be so great if we just get out for an hour just to make some steps in fresh air. And also a nice side effect of that is that everyone is concentrated on exact that meeting. And in the past it was kind of, we have 15 people in that meeting, and if it's not your part, of course
you do something else.
You check your emails and so on. So, and when it comes to the walk and talk, everyone had to prepare before, and then you would just walk, and then you have to listen. And I think that's a good development here.
I love that idea. I'm really going to think about something like that, especially it even works in a home office context, but really it's such a good idea because you're always so distracted if you have your computer screen in front of you or you're not really engaged fully because you're thinking about other things. So I think that's a phenomenal idea. And I think also brings it back to helping people understand the sense of ownership and what they're contributing to, because then you can hear what the others are doing and how
you have to prepare.
And you're forced to prepare, which makes a huge difference. So I think that's really exciting. And taking these aspects of leadership and how it impacts the figures around transparency, ownership, and teamwork, I'm really also curious to kind of unpack that a bit more, because I remember you saying like building this D2C aspect of the company and this e-commerce aspect of the company has been like building a startup in a way. And startups are full of turbulent times, and it's a bunch of uncertainty and a lot of experimenting, giving the safe space for people to make mistakes. And so I'm curious to understand a little bit of what have potentially been challenges along the way of building out this aspect, and how this underlying team culture that you've built and your leadership has helped to kind of overcome some of these roadblocks or hurdles. So do you have any specific examples there even?
I don't know if my leadership helps, but I think it's a development.
Yeah.
And I think in the past it was like we just started the business and then we grow and grow and grow. And for that, we never had the feeling that there was a time which was a little bit slower. So as you said, since the beginning, it was very fast pace life. So sometimes we had the feeling that it would be great to have just a few days to slow down, and therefore I also have to take care that I don't burn the team. But yeah, if you try to make space for for to take time to breath in between, I think you have enough energy to start again new with new ideas. So yeah, we're kind of still in this fast-paced life, but I think you have to take care as a leader as well that you don't burn your people and that you also give them time to explore different things and also to go out and to see other things and not just work in your own bubble all the time. That is what I experienced as well. Like you have to find a balance between being inside your company and getting things done, and also times where you go out, get inspired. So that's also why we did a great team event in the in was it April or May, where the OMR was. So we got the whole team together to that fair. Like I want 10 people or something sleeping at my house together, like a sleepover party, and it was so much fun just to do it together. So I think you always have to give these little highlights in their everyday life.
Oh, that's interesting. I think that's a very interesting perspective, because oftentimes when you think about business, it's like you have to be focused directly on this business and the work that has to be done. But you saying, okay, we take a step out to take a breather and then go see what else is going on is quite interesting. And did you see any impact or some kind of a result also from giving the team the breather and having them, for example, go to OMR and experience what was happening there? Did they come back with any new interesting ideas?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, they are so inspired, everyone on their own topics. In the last year we implemented all the stuff we had as an inspiration from that fair. So
like
Klaviyo, for example, was an inspiration from the fair, and also to see that other brands work with it. And I think also the networking part is so important and gives you so much value due to the fact not just to learn the people or to get to know the people, but more also to see what they are working with, which tools they are using, what they're struggling with, how they solve problems. I think this is so worthy to see all that.
Yeah, 100%. And also really cool to hear that impacted why you put Klaviyo into place and also the general development. And I'm also would love to understand, because if you're having this part of the company where you guys are moving faster and you're developing this particular aspect with the e-commerce and the direct-to-consumer experience, there's still an aspect of the company that is still doing more or less what it was traditionally being done before. So how is it for you balancing this newer culture that you're bringing in with the older legacy culture that was there before?
Yeah, that's funny that you asked me that. The good thing was that the focus was on D2C, and the focus was to foster the relationship between the end consumer and the brand. So everyone was aware that this is an important part. That is, I think that is the most important thing. But of course, the old structures regarding what the wholesale requirements are, regarding the product development, it was always like, okay, what does the wholesale need? And e-com was too small at the beginning so that we have a bigger impact. But now we were rising and rising, and now it's really like that. It's changing the way we think internally, and it becomes more important to find more solutions. Like, for example, that the end consumer perspective is relevant for the product development, for example, or that it's not about which products go to the biggest spaces in the brick and mortars areas. So that you can also think about, I don't know, do you have to need product competences in the online shop as well? Like, are 4 or 5 pullovers too less for a category, or do you have to put more modernization into the products? Do we have a different target group? There's also something where we talked a lot about the brand positioning and so on, due to the fact that, of course, online you have a broader target group, and of course you reach different people than just in the wholesale area. So this is changing a lot at the moment, and I appreciate it.
I can imagine, and I can imagine it's quite a cultural shift for the company then,
Mhm.
because you're going from serving potentially your customer that was more brick and mortar,
Yeah.
who they have the touch point to your customer, but you don't necessarily have the touch
Yes.
point. So you're more so selling to them so they can sell to
Yeah.
the customer. But now you're saying, well, we talked to the customer, they
Yeah.
want this
Yeah.
thing. And that changes the dynamic drastically.
Yes.
And so I'm kind of curious because this aspect of having transparency and ownership and teamwork, how does that also now translate into this aspect of building a community? Because to create a brand and to create a brand that is direct to consumer, I know for myself as a consumer, I like to feel something with the
Yes.
companies that I like. And the ones I
Yes.
like the most, I feel something for. I don't know how to describe it,
Yeah.
but I have a connection to them.
Yeah.
So what has this been like now for you? Because you went on to the process of building this connection within your team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you translate this connection also externally to customers to build a relationship with them?
Yeah, good point. That's something we're working on
Yeah.
for the next year, especially.
Yeah.
Of course, it's very important to get that connection. And at the moment, if you ask the customer,
Yeah.
it's more that they love the quality and durability, but it's a very rational reason
Yeah.
and not an emotional one. Um, and of course, they are very very loyal due to that quality aspects. But we also want to be, or we want them to be loyal due to emotional aspects or cultural relevance aspects. So we have to work on that, and we don't have a solution now, but we
Yeah.
have ideas. And yeah, I think we have to find our spot there. Like, is it kind of, is it the togetherness discovery thing where we have to place our brand? So yeah, I think we're still on our journey, but I think we know how important it is. And yeah, you can be excited due to the fact that we really have great ideas, but I'm not allowed to talk about it now.
Darn.
But you will see.
Okay. Oh, darn. I'm like, you heard it here first moments, but that's really exciting to hear. I'm going to definitely make sure I follow very closely to see, because I'm always excited and really curious how companies pull off creating a community, because I think it's oftentimes easier said than actually done.
Yeah.
Because it there's an element of the company also having to be vulnerable in its own ways
Yes.
to or find a message that really touches at a pain
Yeah.
or feeling for the customer
Yes.
that really gets there, and that finding that
Yes.
is
That's why I
tricky.
also always said that
Yeah.
customer service is so important,
Mm.
because they are solving real problems and they have the real connection to the end consumer. So yeah, I think that's not just a side effect
Yeah.
of a business, it's a really really important part of the complete business. And yeah, I think also you don't have to show the glossy campaign content. You also have to show how you work on the brand, and that you're passionate about your brand. I think it also matters, and I think everyone could feel that. If you're passionate about what you're doing, I think also the end consumer somehow will feel that.
Yeah. That's a very good point that you bring up, because also you talking back to yourself about, you said you're passionately motivated is how
Mm-hmm.
you would describe your role. And there is something infectious about working with someone who's really passionate,
Mm-hmm.
because you get excited too. And
Mm-hmm.
you're like, okay, we're
Yes.
all excited
Yeah.
about this thing. And it's so true, because I also feel like the brands that I have enjoyed or really feel a connection to,
Mm-hmm.
the people who work there, it
Mm-hmm.
sounds crazy, but it's a little bit cult like. They love this company.
Yes.
You can tell that they stand for it.
Yes.
And because they love it so much, you're like,
Yeah.
I love this thing
Yeah.
too. And there's definitely some kind of a trickle on effect that
Yeah.
I'm sure that you're going to also develop
Yeah.
externally as well.
And that brings us back. It's all about the people. It's all
Yeah.
about the people working there. It's about your clients. It's about your end consumers.
Yeah.
It's all about the people.
Yeah.
The brand is nothing without the people.
Yeah, that's a big topic.
Yeah.
It's definitely, and this is why I'm so curious to continue touching on the aspect of the people as you've been in this process of developing this D2C arm of the company.
Mm-hmm.
How do you bring the people more into it? Because if I'm being honest with you, customer service most of the time I think could be better. As someone
Mm-hmm.
as someone who grew up in the States, oftentimes when I'm here, I'm like, oh, I just wish I felt like the companies cared more. Or I feel
Yeah,
like they care about me when I until I make that purchase, and then after the fact, they don't really care anymore. So
yeah.
how are you kind of incorporating more of this customer service into the experience that you're building also now, going direct to consumer?
Mm, I think that's a very rational
Yeah,
reason
okay.
because I tell them what they can get out of it. Like they have all the data,
Mm,
which products don't work. They have a clear understanding of what the customer need, and of course we also have surveys, and of
yeah.
course we also yeah, have a look at the community
Mhm.
in the comments, for example. But I think that could be even stronger. But then we show them what we can learn from customer service and what we can get out of it.
Mm,
And I think this is motivating for the customer service as well, so that they play a bigger role.
yeah.
But also, it's an important part for the product development because they see um, real, real end consumer feedback, and that helps them in developing their products.
Mm. And I'm kind of curious to understand that also more from the people perspective because I find it interesting because people oftentimes will complain that the younger generation or this newer generation is just not very loyal. We're not the most loyal consumers, or we don't really we'll brand hop. We're going for whatever best option is. But I actually think that that's not entirely true. I
Hmm.
actually think the younger generation just cares more about specific topics, is
Hmm.
very impact focused, but also very focused on companies that have clear values that maybe they feel like they can resonate with. So, what has it been like for you getting in touch with the customers? Because you did say before there was a bit of a legacy that people did feel connected to, and now you're getting back out there and really trying to foster building a connection. What is that process like of building that connection with the customers? Has it been a challenging one? Has it
Yes,
been okay?
it's not that easy.
No?
Of course, we have that loyal customer
Yeah.
base, and when I tell you that our customer or that our old customer base is
Yeah.
about 55 something,
Okay.
then I can also tell you that the customer base in the online shop and on the marketplaces is way younger. Like we're just starting with 30 something, also 18,
Yeah.
but 30 is kind of a higher figure there. Um, I think this is also a huge step. But I think the main reason for them still is quality. They know the brand from their parents, they know the brands from, I don't know, someone told them about the quality aspects. So the main reason is still quality, and we have to make it happen that they also see the emotional relevance of the
Yeah.
brand and to make it a more attractive to them. So this
Mhm.
is a challenge we have to solve. And also when I'm talking about the brand and I'm talking to a person who has heard about it but does not know the brand like I know it, it's always the same question like, are you doing that old outdoor stuff? And I'm not.
Okay.
We're not doing
Yeah.
that old outdoor stuff. We're really doing cool, urban, casual, outdoor and outfit wear.
Yeah.
So just check out our website and you will be convinced, I tell you. And
Yeah.
everyone's like, then checking the website and it's like, oh, it's pretty cool. I've never thought about that. It's such a cool brand. So you see, we have a challenge.
Mhm.
We have a job to do to make this more visible. That
Yeah.
this brand is really cool.
Yeah. I I think it was similar for me. I think when I looked at the website, I was also like, "Oh, this is kind of cool."
Yes.
And especially as someone who loves outdoor wear and kind of more of like
Yeah.
the like kind of this like naturey thing. I was like, "This
Yeah.
is really lovely." I was like,
Yeah.
"This is great. Why haven't I heard of it?"
Yeah.
Or like, "Why is it not so much on my radar?" But I would also say maybe for me as a consumer, I wouldn't completely discredit quality. Like I know for me, I've got one brand I
Yeah.
love to death. And I don't know if I have an emotional connection, but somehow I do because I feel like they just produce things that are quality. So I feel like they're never cheating me.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you have with
Yes, you're right.
other fast fashion brands, I'm like,
Yeah.
I bought it because it
Yeah.
looks nice, but it's completely ruined.
Yeah.
So there is also an emotional connection to the quality of
Yeah.
that one particular brand. I'm trying not to say names because they
Yeah.
have great quality. So I'm sure there's an aspect of that there.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's a good point. I
Yeah.
think emotional could also be to trust
Yeah.
a brand. That's a true point. I appreciate that. Thank you. I think, yeah, for us it is important to also have a purpose for nature and for to make things durable so that they in the end are sustainable, not just the way they are produced.
Yeah.
That's this, of course. We also have certificates and so on, and got certifications, but also that they are durable and that you can wear it for years and years and years, and that they accompany you with every adventure you are doing, like small adventure, big adventures. You can always trust your Camel Active clothes. So I think, maybe this is a good emotional point.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is a lovely emotional point. And I actually wanted to also touch a bit on this aspect of sustainability with you, because there's a lot of companies that I would say do a bit of greenwashing or use sustainability as a hook to attract consumers, especially conscious-minded consumers, which is a huge demographic. I myself am one of them as well. And so I wanted to understand, maybe from your side, how you all are focusing on making sustainability also part of creating this drive and connection for the consumer, so that it's not just the product, but it's within the DNA.
The funny thing is, it's not that important for the end consumer as it is for us as a brand.
Okay.
We did some surveys, and of course, it's like being, or it's like caring for animals, but not being vegan or something. I think it's kind of comparable. If you ask them if sustainability is important, it's always like yes. But if you ask them if it's the reason to buy a thing, it's less important. So we asked them like, what is the most important thing where you decide to buy a product from us? Is it quality? Is it function? Is it the material? Is it the color? Is it the fit? Is it the sustainability? And so on. A lot of questions, and sustainability is on the bottom. Not just the whole button, but kind of in the lower area. And the most important part was quality aspects, functional aspects, like you don't want to get wet or you don't want to sweat, so you have an antibacterial shirt or I don't know, such functional aspects. But the sustainability aspects were not that important for our end consumer, but for us it is important. So we're working together. We're always flying to our suppliers and checking the how they work, and we're having a lot of certifications, which is a lot of work to fulfill them. Really, it is. And we're trying to work on that. I would say we are not that sustainable brand, as there are others who really claim that for their brand, but we also have that purpose, like make an active change. For us is a really, really important thing, and we're trying to push that further and further in our collection development.
Oh, I think that's really interesting, and that was actually shocking for me to hear you say that. It's like,
for us as well. It was like, okay.
You're like, okay, so what do you want? And also, it kind of reminds me of, I think it's the Robert Ford quote of like, if I would have asked people what they wanted, they would have told me faster horses. Before he created cars. So it's one of those things where it's like, you can ask people, but it may not necessarily align really with what they would do. And so this brings me to then the aspect of building the community and getting this emotional connection to the consumer now and creating loyalty to the brand. You've got the ranks around what they would want when it comes to more objective things or like less feely topics. So you said it's the quality, it's the functionality, sustainability is a bit lower. So on an emotional level then, what would you say is at the top for them? Is it trust, transparency? Is it this feeling of fun within the brand? Have you been able to identify something around that?
I think it's or on an emotional perspective, I think it's the part discovery connected with togetherness, like the joy of discovering something together with your friends or your peer group or something like that. I think this is our part where we as a brand are very present, and besides that, it's the trust part due to the quality aspects. Like, if I wear that clothes, it's not just that they keep me warm and keep me safe, it's also that I look good in it.
Yeah.
And I think this is our kind of niche where we are positioned. Like, it's not just functional wear, which sometimes look a little bit odd, but it's very urban, casual, modern fit. Like, you feel good in your clothes, you know, you look good, and you have kind of a cool and stylish outfit you can wear together and layer and so on. But it's furthermore, it's practical, it's high quality, so you have a good mixture between these two aspects.
Okay. And I think it's interesting because if we take it even to what you said, that you found that the consumers want and your customer and your community base, it kind of goes back to what you also have going on and have been developing internally. So this aspect of togetherness and this aspect of discovery, even as you said, allowing them to have the breathing space so that they can go out and discover. And so I'm actually excited to find out where things go moving forward, because I know you're at the start of this journey of really building the community and getting that together. And I'm sure what you're doing internally will inevitably also translate into what we will experience as consumers on the outside. So this leads to one of the last questions that I have for you is, when you do look at the next few years with the D2C arm, the e-commerce arm, and creating this more community and loyal experience, what are you most looking forward to?
Besides the revenue, which is a thing which is I don't know, hygiene factor, like, which is important for a company to grow. For me, it's more important to show the world how great the brand really is, because that's a personal thing as well. Like, always when I'm talking to people, it's my passion to tell them it's a great brand, really it is. And I'm so proud when just one single person is convinced and just says, yes, it is, really, it's true. So I think this, in a broader perspective, is to show the world that we have a really great brand, and that they have fun using it. So I would be glad if more people can see what's behind this cool brand.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure that's coming with time as well. And so as we were starting to close out the conversation, I kind of want to round it out by going back to the aspect of leadership and team again. And when you're looking back at your leadership journey, maybe what would be one piece of advice that you'd give to younger leaders now as they're moving forward in their careers?
Listen to your team. They will exactly tell you what they need. And don't ever listen to someone else who wants you to be someone different or to behave different. Just listen to your inner feeling, listen to your team, and then go your way. Take decisions, and not just figuring out what's the best way. Just listen to your inner feelings and then make decisions.
I love that. Awesome. And with that being said, we're more or less at the end of the conversation. So I wanted to ask you, is there anything else you wanted to say before we close out?
Yes, when it comes due to the empowerment part, it's not just in my team, it's also for other, for example, women, because you have to kind of push a little bit the women more. They often have imposter syndrome and are like, what do I have to tell the people? I'm not the role model here in that field, but I think it's so important to step outside your comfort zone and to just show yourself up. Of course, not everyone is the type of being so visible on a stage or something, but if you step outside your comfort zone, you learn so much about yourself, and you get to know so many people who are so lovely and who to give you how to say, who enrich your life, kind of, and are so important to grow further. And so always be brave and do it. And for that, we just won the wild card for the Berlin Expo for a stage presence, my colleague and I, and we want to give away our slot to other females that are not known so well so far and not on every stage here. So yeah, we will give away 3 slots for 10 minutes. It's a perfect starter time, I think, where they can present their first stories, and we will call for speakers on our LinkedIn profiles in the next months, weeks. And then, yeah.
That is phenomenal, and that is so beautiful and exciting to hear. And I also think such a great idea that you're doing that, because you're so right. A lot of women do have imposter syndrome or in general, and it can feel also sometimes like, how do you even get these opportunities to speak on stages if maybe you don't know someone or you've never been given the opportunity? So the fact that you're giving your stage time to others so that they can also get this opportunity is absolutely outstanding and phenomenal. And I'm excited at the Expo to see who goes on stage, and I'll be looking out for your post so I can make sure to repost it for my network as well, so we can get you as many amazing women as possible to the front. And yeah, I love that you're doing that, and empowerment is incredibly incredible. So thank you for that, and thank you for being here with me for this conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me here.
Yes, it was a blast.
So
awesome.
Happy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Click. If you enjoyed this episode, follow the podcast and leave us a review. It really helps others discover these stories and helps us to notify you when the next episode goes live. Also, remember to join us at E-commerce Berlin Expo in February to keep the conversation going. We look forward to seeing you there, and until next time.